To this station. I want to especially welcome each and every one of you that has joined us to this webinar. I just want to read a couple of people who managed to introduce themselves on chat, and then we can start the program. So we have Florence. Florence said she's Anne, and the organization is Kids League Kenya. We also have Bonnie, who is from KCDF, and he's glad to be here. We have Jane, who's also here with us. We have Godfrey. We have Ivan from Justice Defenders Uganda. Welcome so much. We have Jane Mweni. She says, good morning. Her name is Jane, and she's excited. She represents Beyond the Vision Initiative, which is an NGO in Embakasi, and they work with children. Welcome so much, Jane. We also have Victoria Finn. She says, good morning. I'm Vicky from Kids League Kenya, an organization from Mombasa funding secondary and tertiary education scholarship. We have many of our team on the training today. Excited to learn more about what Microsoft 365 can do for us. Welcome so much, Vicky. And we also have John Marande, and he says, good morning, John Marande here from West Kenya Union Conference of SDA. Welcome so much. And we have Evans. Evans says, he's Evans from Seaford, Kenya. Welcome so much. Even as we start the program, feel free to just introduce yourself on chat. Tell us who you are, how you're feeling this day, which organization you work with, and anything else that you might want to know. Before I hand it over, let me just read something from Brian. Brian Mabry, he said, happy to represent Sitiri Dada organization. We are SRH champions from Machakos. Welcome so much, Brian. We are glad to have you. At this point, I want us to begin this webinar so that we can also just finish on time. Feel free to keep introducing yourselves on chat, and welcome so much. I want to invite Boniface Mutinda from KCDF, who is our communications manager, to just welcome you in a special way to this webinar. Bonnie, you're welcome.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to see you this Friday morning. It's our holiday. Happy holiday, everybody, to our Muslim brothers and sisters from wherever you're joining us. We're so excited that you can also be able to join us this morning. Thank you so much for all of you who are joining us from different parts of this continent, from Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, Ethiopia, and the entire African region. For us at KCDF and TechSoup Kenya, we are very much excited and honored to have you join us this morning. It's a holiday in Kenya, but I mean, we are so glad that many of you are able to create time and just to be able to join us. Of course, even as you join us, please feel free to put it on the chat, your name, the name of your organization, and we will be able to connect with you and to be more than glad just to interact and to have a very good session this morning. Just to introduce myself, my name is Boniface Mutinda. I'm the communications manager at KCDF. KCDF is Kenya Community Development Foundation. It's a very large institution by what we do. It was founded in the year 1997. Part of what we do, we engage in public philanthropy, and we work closely with communities and CSOs, organizations and non-profits like yours, just to be able to identify some of the challenges that you're facing, and we can work together to come up with solutions and to impact the communities. As a matter of fact, we believe in creating resilient and flourishing communities, and that is why we are here this morning. At the same time, KCDF happens to be the partner organization for TechSoup. TechSoup Global is an institution, that provides technology products and services for non-profits. And from this end of the world, KCDF is the anchor institution, and therefore we are implementing what we call TechSoup Kenya, which is what is covering the region of Eastern Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, some bits of Ethiopia, Sudan, and Somaliland. And therefore, we are very much excited. What TechSoup we do is that we provide discounted technology products and services just to enable non-profits to be able to function well and to be able to carry out your mandate in a very, in a very great way. Ideally, when you go to the market and be able to access some of these products and services, you'll get them at a way far higher cost. But when you come to us as TechSoup, you're able to get them at a very discounted price. And that's why we are very excited this morning to have you guys on board in this webinar, because today we have a very exciting session just to learn and to teach you about one of the products and that we have, and just to show you the value that you're able to derive from Microsoft 365. We have a very special session that we have prepared for you. We have an amazing guest, we have an expert who is able to just break this information down for you in a very easy way, in a level that you can be able to understand. And most important, just you can be able to see the value that this brings to your institution. So ladies and gentlemen, mine is to say a big welcome. Please keep putting it on the chat, your name, your organization. Feel free to also put up your website, your social media platform, so you can be able to connect and be able to interact with you. So please get your pen and paper ready and get ready to learn, because we have an amazing session ahead of us. And today we have a very great guy that I'm going to introduce right now, who is going to take us through the next 45 minutes from now, 9:15 all the way to 10. And of course, if you have any questions, please have them in writing. At the end of this session, you will have an opportunity to ask your question, and our guest expert, he will have a good session just to answer all our sessions. So ladies and gentlemen, without much further ado, allow me to introduce Alex. I will give him the opportunity to give the big introduction by himself and take it up from here. Karibu sana Alex, and we look forward to a very great session.
All right, thank you very much, Boniface, and good morning, everybody. So just briefly allow me to share my screen. There you go. All right, so by way of introduction, my name is Alex Winde. I work as Cloud Administrator for TechSoup Global, which is part of the TechSoup Africa and TechSoup Kenya network. And I'm very honored to be the guest speaker in today's webinar on everything that you need to know about Microsoft 365. So I have been working with Microsoft technologies for over a decade now, and I'm honored to have helped numerous organizations to leverage the power of Microsoft 365 to streamline operations, improve productivity and collaboration, and also try to achieve their goals. So in today's webinar, we will be exploring the exciting world of Microsoft 365 and delve into the features that it has to offer, benefits of Microsoft 365 to non-profits, as well as briefly talk about the licensing options that we have for non-profits. So whether you're an organization decision maker, whether you're an IT expert or professional, or even an end user, this webinar promises to give you some informative data or information while engaging, as well as we cover everything you need to know about Microsoft 365. So we will cover some of the latest updates and enhancements by Microsoft regarding Microsoft 365 and how it can help you to stay ahead of your competition, transform your workplace, increase your productivity, and achieve your organizational goals. So I hope by the end of the webinar, you'll have a better understanding of this tool. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them on chat as we go along. I will try to answer your questions at the end of the session. So without further ado, let's dive into the world of Microsoft 365 and discover everything you need to know to take your organization to the next level. Right, so we will start going through what we'll cover today. So ideally, we've broken down this topic, or rather today's webinars, into 4 different sessions, sections. One of them being just going through some of the top challenges that small and medium nonprofits face. We'll highlight the importance of leveraging technology to enhance productivity and increase efficiency, and how Microsoft 365 can be a game changer in this regard. So we'll also discuss the different Microsoft 365 licenses available, and also try to provide guidance on which licenses would work better or best for you as an organization, and help you choose the best license for you. So, and then finally, I'm going to touch a little bit about Microsoft security. So specifically now that we have remote work with us, and it's something that we can no longer deny, we'll need to know what Microsoft security has to offer and how we can secure our remote work. It's crucial for organizations to have a secure and efficient remote work setup. So we'll try and highlight the various tools and features that Microsoft offers to support secure remote work. Okay, so small and medium nonprofit organizations face a number of technology challenges that can impact their ability to operate efficiently and effectively. So some of the top challenges we've seen are: 1, limited budgets. So nonprofits often have limited budgets for technology, which can make it difficult sometimes to invest in the tools and infrastructure they need to support their operations. Outdated technology might also be another issue or rather challenge that organizations face, and this may lead to decreased productivity, increased downtime, and also unreliable technology being in use. Cybersecurity threats are also other challenges that organizations face. So nonprofits are not immune to cyber attacks, and may be vulnerable due to the limited IT infrastructure or resources that they have. Also, another aspect or challenge that small and medium organizations face is the data management aspect. So you find that nonprofits often deal with large amounts of data, from donors to information about program data, financial reports, and all that. And managing this data can be a challenge in itself. So this also poses a challenge for nonprofits. And as we look for solutions for these challenges, we really do hope that Microsoft can come in and actually help you in resolving or rather answering all these issues. Finally, I think remote work is also an issue that we faced, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, which has forced us now to work remotely, and can be a challenge for some organizations who don't have an infrastructure that is actually out there to help them in meeting all these remote work needs. So the world has changed a lot in the last 2 to 3 years, and we are dealing with a landscape that is different from what it looked like a few years ago. So there is a realization that we have to actually do remote work, and we have to do it right. So these are just some of the issues that we've faced. How can we distribute our work better? Can employees work remotely from multiple locations? How can we maintain the security while we're still working remotely on our personal and mobile devices? So if we look at it, the challenges that I just mentioned, they all trickle down to these three. How can nonprofits do remote work better while ensuring that their employees or their staff members remain productive and connected? How do we ensure that security of the data and devices is optimal through this distributed work environment where we have people working from each and every location on Earth? And how can we now manage costs of this infrastructure while we face this period of uncertainty at this point? So although that's said and done, I would like to introduce you now to the actual reason we're in this webinar today, which is the world of Microsoft 365. So, but before we begin to, go deeper into what Microsoft 365 is, I'd like just to introduce the solution to you, right? So from my infographic here, as you can see, Microsoft 365 is a secure, intelligent, and complete solution to empower your employees. So what does it mean? So in a nutshell, or holistically, Microsoft is a subscription-based cloud service that provides users, staff members, and organizations with access to a suite of productivity tools and services. So originally, it was released in 2011. By that time, it was being called Office 365. Now it has been rebranded to Microsoft 365 due to the new features and capabilities beyond the Office 365 or Office applications that we used to. So the suite includes applications such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, as well as other cloud-based collaboration and productivity tools like SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, and OneDrive that we are going to tackle as we go along. So with the Microsoft 365 subscription, you'll realize that organizations can access these applications from any device, including desktop, laptops, tablets, smartphones, just name any device that you can think of there. Microsoft 365 can be accessed from any of those devices, and empower organizations to be able to collaborate with each other in real time, share files, secure access to those files and all that within a single platform. So in addition to these productivity tools, we're used to the Words, the Excel, the PowerPoints, the Access, the publishers and all that. Microsoft has also new features such as advanced security, compliance capabilities, enterprise level management tools, and things like artificial intelligence that can help you actually drive or rather process your data as an organization and make key informed decisions based on those analytics and insights. So it is designed for businesses. It also is designed for nonprofits, and also Microsoft 365 is designed for family use. So you can use it on a family level, you can use it as a nonprofit, you can also use it as a large enterprise business. The opportunities here and the use cases here are so many that you cannot actually even exhaust. So this again goes to talk about the plans or the flexible pricing plans that Microsoft 365 has to offer and how Microsoft 365 meets needs and budgets for different organizations. So we have so many things to talk about today. We have the identity and threat protection, which is part of Microsoft 365 security, device and application management, which is also part of the Microsoft 365 security, and then the productivity and collaboration and information protection and governance features or rather capabilities of Microsoft 365. Right. So, so before we go into the tools themselves, so let's just run through a few benefits of Microsoft 365. So, like I mentioned, Microsoft 365 brings together the key capabilities that you need to enable your organization or your staff members to work from anywhere. So you can use collaborative tools such as Microsoft Teams. You can use your Microsoft 365 security tools to secure your identity, data, and devices, or even promote remote access using virtual desktops and all that. So if you look at it holistically, you ideally drill down into 3 key benefits. One of them being it's very comprehensive and easy to use because it has all applications or all features all under one roof. So it is one solution for productivity and security. It's a cloud platform that simplifies the deployment because you actually don't need to deploy anything. You just need to either pay for your subscription or get a donation or a grant. And yeah, everything is actually done for you by Microsoft. So you don't need to maintain any infrastructure. Everything is on the cloud. And so it's really easy for you to, have it up and running within a short period of time. As it eliminates the need to have multiple solutions, this helps you now reduce the operational costs of your organization. So if you have any issues, like you have, let's say, a help desk or, a server room where you have, different servers and all that, you can actually reduce costs for this infrastructure by actually just subscribing to the Microsoft Cloud and lowering the help desk support tickets that you usually get so that you can focus on meeting your organization goals and targets. So Microsoft ideally is able to streamline your IT systems, processes for nonprofits. And let me just give you an instance. For instance, if just an example, for instance, instead of purchasing an operating system where you can, will you just need to, you'll use that operating system key to activate your Windows operating system. Why don't you, invest on productivity suite that, like Microsoft 365, that will be able, will enable you to juggle multiple software programs for collaboration, meetings, and chat. And that is actually easy to use and can is always up to date as you go along. You're actually eliminating the issue of having to update your programs or your software on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis. So ideally, if you look at it, this will reduce your costs and overhead because you no longer need to maintain multiple systems and solutions. I've also mentioned about updates. So Microsoft ideally makes sure that your cloud applications or your Microsoft 365 applications are up to date at any given point in time. So this making sure that they're up to date ensures that you're protected from any security risks or security vulnerabilities. And the only thing you need to do is just make sure that you're connected to the internet and on all your applications will be updated. So this, if you look at it, it reduces the cost of having to, have a whole IT setup out there or a help desk out there that is just primarily focused on updating your Microsoft 365 or rather your on-premises software. So those are just some of the key benefits. We have quite a number of them. We really can't go through them, all of them today, but yeah, hopefully as we go along, you will be able to understand what the different tools are and how they can help your organization. So now let's go into the tools into the Microsoft 365 productivity tools. So we have the basic, historical Microsoft 365 applications that we've always used all this time. So we have the Microsoft Word, which is a word processing application that has been around for a very, very long time. I think this application was introduced in 1983 and has been one of the oldest Microsoft applications still in use up to date. So I'm sure most of you, if not all, have been able to interact with Microsoft Word through the decades. And it ideally is just all about creating new documents from scratch and using predefined templates to create any sort of documentation that you need. So we use Microsoft Word to create things like business cards, business flyers, project documentation, manuals, reports, and all that. So I really don't need to go deep into that because I believe most of you, if not all, have actually interacted with Microsoft Word in one way or another. Then we have the likes of Microsoft Excel, which is also a very popular and powerful tool used in almost each and every industry. So for instance, teachers will use it, business owners, accountants, project managers, and all. You can, I mean, Microsoft Excel is almost used across board by almost each and every professional out there. So it has various purposes, of course. It can perform a variety of calculations, produce very beautiful charts and graphs, and also just to, can be used to process data. So this is just to name just a few of them. We have the likes of PowerPoint, which is a tool that can be used to create your presentations. So for instance, the presentation we have today has been created through PowerPoint. I believe at some point, all of us here have been able to create presentations. So it's a good illustrative tool that can be used to create very powerful presentations, and also supports things like audios, videos, and animation effects to help you or to help a user give a better presentation that has that has greater impact. Then we have the likes of OneNote. So again, this has been here for quite a while. Ideally, OneNote is all about taking notes. So you've always taken notes on your book, you write them on your book, but now Microsoft is giving you a digital way of note taking. So which is available on any platform you might think out there. So it's available on mobile, on web, and also as a desktop application that you can install on your laptops. So it keeps your notes, plans, and notes all in one place. And you can create different, sections, pages, sub pages, just like a traditional paper notebook that you have out there. Just think of OneNote as if it is a digital version of that paper notebook. Then we have things like Microsoft Access, which is an application used to create databases to store and manage your business data. So for some of us who've been in the IT industry for quite a while, I'm sure you've interacted with Microsoft Access. So here you're able to create tools like, tables, queries, reports, and all that, all in a graphical user interface format, so that you can actually use this data to provide you with more insights to make better decisions. And then we have the likes of Microsoft Publisher, which is a publishing software, just like the name suggests. So this is a very good tool, a professional tool that can be used to make, business cards, letterheads, brochures, newsletters, posters, and all that. So if you've interacted with people who print, things like wedding cards and business cards, so they use Microsoft Publisher, or rather, most of them use Microsoft Publisher to be able to create such type of content. You've seen how stunning they look and how beautiful they look. So that is now the power of Microsoft Publisher. So we are going to look into the Outlooks, the OneDrives, and the Microsoft Teams, basically because some of them are also new applications, and I would like to go deeper into them and talk about what they do. or what they are and how they can help organizations to, meet their needs. So let's start by looking at Microsoft Outlook. So I believe Microsoft Outlook is one of the most popular email clients in the world and is used widely by businesses and individuals as well. So Microsoft is part of Microsoft 365 ecosystem. And just like any other Microsoft 365 application, it is integrated to work very well with the likes of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other applications. So this integration allows users to simply switch between different applications and access their files and data across any sort of device. So if you're using a phone, using laptop, desktop, tablet, any sort of device out there, you're able to switch and use Microsoft Outlook perfectly. So it gives you, or rather provides you with a range of features that is designed to help you to manage your emails, calendars, contacts, tasks, and all that in one place. So in terms of email management, Outlook allows users to be able to send and receive and organize their emails using a range of tools, such as things like folders. You can create folders on Outlook, create rules such that when an email comes from a certain person, they are actually forwarded to a certain folder, and also do things like filtering. So depending on the license that you have for Microsoft, and we are going to talk briefly about licenses as we go along, you will find that Microsoft will give you different mailbox or Outlook sizes based on the licenses that you have, but you're going to cover that as you go along with the webinar. And then another thing I mentioned is calendars. So Microsoft Outlook will help you manage your calendars. So this ideally is just a feature to help you manage your schedules, your appointments, your meetings and events all in one place, and also give you reminders when maybe a meeting is upcoming, as well as give you the ability to share your calendars with other people for collaboration in your organization. Then we have things like contacts, where you be able to manage your contacts in one place. So this is things like email addresses, phone numbers, mailing addresses. It also gives you ability to create distribution lists, where, for instance, if you have 10 people who you usually communicate with at a go, you don't actually have to type in their email addresses each and every time. Those specific email addresses each and every time you want to send an email to them. So ideally, you just create a distribution list and add those people in that distribution list. So distribution list here is just like a group where you'll bundle all the people together there. And when you want to send out a communication to them, you just need to type in the group's email address and send that email to them, and everybody will be able to receive. So like any other Microsoft product, Microsoft Outlook is very, very key on security, and is very focused on protecting user data and preventing unauthorized access. So some of the security features that Microsoft Outlook has to offer is email encryption. So you can be guaranteed that for any email you send out there using Microsoft Outlook, it has been encrypted from end to end, meaning that nobody can access the email, or no unauthorized access of the email in between the transit period. So it's only you, the sender, and the intended recipient who can actually see that email. Then, of course, with Outlook, just like any other application out there, everybody is required to use a password before they can access. So password is also another form of security. And right now we have things like two-factor authentication that have come in to further enhance security, but we're going to talk about that as we go along. Also, Microsoft Outlook rather gives you the ability to detect if emails are junk or not junk. And this is also a security feature which helps you avoid unwanted and potentially malicious messages. And for some of you who maybe have used Outlook, you've also realized that if you're using, if you receive an attachment, you can actually preview that attachment before you download it. So whether you're using the web or whether you're using the Outlook application installed on your laptop or your phone or your computer, you can actually preview any attachment that is sent to you. So this is just a safety measure to make sure that you don't download the email attachments without knowing, or rather we don't download the potentially malicious attachments, and that you actually have first preview, make sure that it's something that you actually were expecting. So Outlook overall is a very comprehensive and user-friendly tool that helps you manage emails and other personal information all in one pane, and interacts very well with other Microsoft productivity tools on the go. Then the next productivity tool that Microsoft 365 has to offer is OneDrive for Work. So Microsoft OneDrive for Work was formerly known as Microsoft OneDrive for Business, but through the rebranding that Microsoft has been doing as we go along, they've rebranded this to OneDrive for Work. So we have two flavors. We have OneDrive for Work and OneDrive for school. So work is, of course, for work. School is for school-going students. So OneDrive provides secure access to your files and documents from anywhere that you are, as long as you have internet connection, and allows multiple people or staff members to contribute or rather collaborate on work documents in real time. So with a Microsoft 365 subscription, you usually get a 1 terabyte storage of OneDrive per account. So this will help you store your documents on the cloud and access them at any given point if you'd like. So OneDrive also has various features, just like any other Microsoft tool, that enable you to efficiently secure file sharing and management, such as things like version control, synchronization with your personal devices, and also ensuring that you meet security and compliance measures within your industry. So for instance, imagine a non-profit organization that provides educational resources and services to underprivileged communities. So they have a group, or they have a whole team of volunteers who need to access various documents, things like training materials, lesson plans, or even student progress reports. So with how Microsoft now comes in to enable that is using OneDrive. So the organization can create a shared folder on OneDrive that the volunteers can access from their phones or their portable devices, which now makes it easy for them to collaborate on projects and stay up to date on the latest resources and information that is published on that OneDrive folder. Additionally, organization can also use OneDrive to securely store sensitive information, such as student data and reports and financial reports, and also control access to these documents or this sensitive information based on particular roles and permissions. So you'll, like any other organization out there, you'll find that documents that are actually in the finance department, documents like financial reports, cash balances, and all that, you wouldn't want anybody, just anybody in the organization to be able to view this document, or rather documents. So Microsoft OneDrive gives you that ability to lock down access based on department, based on membership, based on user profile and all that. So you can decide to give only people in the finance team access to a certain document and deny the rest of the people in the organization access to that document. So it's very granular You can even go to the extent of saying, I want only 2 people to be able to download these documents. For instance, you can say, I want only the executive director or the finance manager to be able to download these documents. The rest of the people can only view the document on the web. So it's very, very granular, depending on the access level that you want to give out there. Another very key feature also, or benefit of using OneDrive is in case you have people out there in the field who do not have access to the internet 24/7, they can still use OneDrive and still benefit from it. How would they do it? So assuming I don't have access to internet, I would just need to edit the document, or rather pre-download the document on my device, edit the document while I'm offline, I'm out there in the field, edit that document when I'm there, and then when I come back to a place where I have actual connection, I can, the changes that I made during that period when I was offline will actually be automatically synced to the cloud. So that means any other person out there can see all these edits or changes that I made when I was offline. Our next productivity tool is SharePoint Online. And SharePoint Online here allows organizations to be able to create sites like internal intranet sites, be able to communicate to organizations or rather to staff members in a better and a structured way, to be able to have document libraries where you can store organizational wide information and also share this information with your entire staff members. So this can help you streamline operations, improve on communication and collaboration, and also manage resources more effectively. So but just an example to to show how maybe organizations can benefit from SharePoint is think of an organization that has or that offers free legal aid to people in need. So they have a bunch of lawyers, paralegals, and volunteers who work together to provide legal services to to these clients who are not able to pay. So all these clients have cases, they have documents, they have case documents, files, and all that. And there's a lot of communication also that goes around all the members in that legal firm. So they can use SharePoint, SharePoint Online, to create a site that includes a document library to store case-related documents, such as legal forms, court orders, and client information. And they can create a list, something called a SharePoint list, to track the status of each of these cases. So if a case has been assigned to a certain lawyer or a certain, or it belongs to a certain client, you can actually create a SharePoint list and add all this information there so that anybody who ever wants to see, who handled this case can actually just filter by the name of the client and all the information will come in there. And all these solutions are, all this solution is free and is part of the Microsoft 365 suite. So with SharePoint, you can also be able to create, or rather, SharePoint is a very, very good communication tool. And you can create chat functions or discussions or announcement boards that you can use to keep your, your internal staff members updated on any new cases or any upcoming issues. And all this again is also very secure. So just like OneDrive, you can lock down folders and access to certain information to a department, to a particular department or a particular user or a particular staff member depending on their role in your organization. So finally, just to mention, SharePoint integrates very well with other tools out there in the Microsoft ecosystem and can help you transform your business processes through integrating very well with tools like Power Automate, Power Apps, and Power BI that we are going to be covering also as you go along this webinar. And sorry, just before I forget also, just before I move away from SharePoint, is Microsoft realizes that you as an organization need to collaborate well with other organizations or other partners out there for you to be able to realize your needs. So SharePoint comes in to help you in collaborating with other organizations, in that you as an organization, you can add other partner organizations and give them access to your SharePoint sites if you wish, and you'll be able to collaborate or edit the same documents as if you are in actually the same organization. So it's a very, very wide and good collaboration tool that integrates very well and can actually work across all sort of sectors and organizations. Then now we move to Microsoft Teams. So we are going to spend a couple of minutes talking about Microsoft Teams because it is one of the biggest collaboration and biggest tool out there at the moment by Microsoft. So we talked about how remote work is here to stay and how we as nonprofits need to actually do it better. So this is where now Microsoft Teams comes in. So the key reasons to use Microsoft Teams as opposed to other separate products out there is that it is a one-stop shop. So it is one place to collaborate with everybody and everything, or rather every platform in one place. So organizations can benefit from Microsoft Teams by using real-time teamwork, having online meetings anywhere, and also doing external collaboration, which I've mentioned when I was talking about SharePoint, where you can collaborate with external parties and all that. So I remember there's a survey that was done recently on the best collaboration tools out there, and Microsoft Teams was voted as the best. And the reason why Microsoft Teams was voted the best was simply simple. It has everything in one place. So you'll be able to access your applications for video conferencing, for chatting, and also for co-authoring documents in one place. You will have one place to access shared files and history of conversations, and also one place to integrate your applications or your other applications so that you can customize your business workflow and business processes. So Microsoft Teams helps you bring everyone in your team on the same page. So wherever they work, whether it's using a group chat, whether it's using online meetings, whether it's through calling and web conferencing, all that. Plus, you can also keep your users or other customers or even partners and vendors and people out there connected through online meetings, as well as collaborate on files and shared documents. So first of all, Microsoft Teams solves the issue of communication and collaboration needs of a diverse workforce so that you can focus on staying on top of your work by easily accessing your files, chats, apps in one place across the desktop, web, mobile, or even any other medium of communication out there. So you can use Teams for one-on-one chats. So maybe myself and Boniface have a Teams platform where we can chat one-on-one, just like you do on WhatsApp, and also have group chats just like you do on WhatsApp as well. Only that now Microsoft Teams has more capabilities than, of course, WhatsApp. These one-on-one or one-to-one chats and group chats help you to be able to share information in a very transparent way for faster decision making, of course. And you can also collaborate in real time by co-authoring files and sharing them quickly and easily. So what I mean by co-authoring files here is you have 2 or 3 people working on the same file, so that they can finish a task maybe that is very key or very time sensitive. So 3 or 4 people or even 2 people can work on the same file and see changes that each and every person is making in real time. So this is what we mean by co-authoring. So whether people inside the organization or people outside the organization, this is actually a plus for them. And the good thing also with this co-authoring or Teams files is that in case you wanted to go back to a certain version of the file. So for instance, let's say we made a mistake when, editing a certain file. And we actually need to go back to a certain version of the file and restore that version. It's actually possible using Teams files, which are ideally powered by SharePoint Online. So this will help you in version control and also help you in preventing data loss. Then we've talked about online meetings from anywhere. So this Teams is designed to help you stay connected with an intelligent meeting solution that helps you, that supports sharing video and also audio conferencing. So Teams, Microsoft Teams here will offer you a complete meeting solution, and is it has the capability to have different types of meetings. So you can have the spontaneous meetings, you can have scheduled meetings, or even formal and informal meetings with your internal and external stakeholders. So for instance, in your one-on-one chat, say you want to meet up with that person that say I wanted to meet up with Boniface, who've been chatting on Microsoft Teams. I can just call him through Microsoft Teams and he'll pick the call just like a normal call that you pick on your phone. Same with group chats. I can decide, we can just come say we want to meet on a call, have a video call, have an audio call. We don't need to schedule a meeting. We can just do a spontaneous call by just dialing in that group, and anybody or everybody in that group will receive a call on their phones as long as Microsoft Teams is running and they have internet connection. You're able to conduct all these meetings from anywhere, whether inside or outside the organization, using, of course, your computer or mobile phone. And this ideally helps you reduce the travel time and that maybe you would take to travel from one point to another just to hold a virtual meeting. And this ideally will enhance your ability to reach greater bases, whether locally or internationally, and of course, reduce the cost. Then it is also easy to use, and it helps you to schedule meetings using a meeting scheduler. So what the meeting scheduler system does rather is if you want to schedule a meeting and the person who you want to schedule a meeting is in your organization and they have another meeting at the same time, or they're not available at that particular point you want to meet with them, you will get a notification that that person is not available. Please choose another time. And actually, Microsoft Teams goes to another extent of giving you the best possible time or the next available time for the person. So you don't have to go and ask them, when are you available for me to set up a meeting? All this data will be brought to you on Microsoft Teams. Finally, we have external collaboration. So like I mentioned, it is very common for teams and organizations out there to work with external parties, for instance, contractors, consultants, and other type of people outside the boundaries of your organization. So there's something that is called guest access in Microsoft 365 and also Microsoft Teams ecosystem, which allows people to fully participate and collaborate right along with you while they are not part of the organization. So it means they can schedule a Teams meeting. You can schedule a Teams meeting with anyone who has a valid business or organizational email address. So for instance, Boniface, who works at KCDF, can schedule a meeting with me who works at TechSoup, because we have one thing in common, which is a business email address or consumer email address. So he's able to invite me as a guest, and we are able to work, or rather, we are able to enter into a meeting together, collaborate on the same documents, and also I'm able to receive or even make phone calls to him, when I'm using either my phone, rather my handheld devices or my laptop through Microsoft Teams. So it's a very good collaboration tool that brings everyone together, whether they are part of your organization or not. So that is Microsoft Teams. So now I'll quickly rush through the other productivity tools that are out there by Microsoft. So one of the tools is Microsoft Bookings. So Microsoft Bookings is an online scheduling and appointment booking service that is designed to help organizations manage their bookings and appointments, right? So just to give an example of how Microsoft Bookings can come into play. So assuming that your organization hosts events such as fundraisers or volunteer drives, that you can use Microsoft Bookings to manage your attendance, registration, and scheduling. So by creating a booking page, ideally what you'll do is you'll be able to allow your volunteers or even donors, in case of a fundraising, to sign up for the event, and they will be able to receive reminders that the event is upcoming, depending on the designated time or time period you've set. And also you as an organization will receive a notification or an email that somebody has booked a certain event or a certain time slot to be with you on day X and X. So maybe for instance, another example that you can think about is a non-profit that offers maybe counseling services to people in need of counseling services. Of course, you can use Microsoft Booking to streamline the scheduling process. So you can create a booking page of your counseling services organization, and people will go into the web interface, see the open slots, book that open slot, and you as a you as the doctor or you as the admin of the organization, you'll receive a notification that this slot has been booked by this person, and this is the issue that they have, and you as an organization have the ability to either accept or decline that booking. So it's a very useful tool. I've seen it being used in even corporate environments or even personal businesses. So for instance, I have a friend of mine who has a salon, and what they've done is they have a Microsoft 365 instance, and they've made use of bookings such that they publish the bookings page on a website out there, and anybody who wants to book a time slot for the salon, they just basically go to the website, or rather to the bookings page, book a slot, and then that slot is reserved. So, my friend now knows that, tomorrow I have X number of customers to serve. So it can be used by nonprofits, and also, of course, for businesses, and so as well as for personal use. Then we have another tool called Microsoft Forms, which is an online survey and form creation tool that allows people to quickly and easily create custom surveys, queries, or quizzes, polls, and things like questionnaires. So it can be used, of course, in many different scenarios. So one that comes to mind when I think of Microsoft Forms is, for instance, if you have an organization that wants to conduct an employee satisfaction survey, you want to gather feedback on how your employees feel about their workplace, the benefits that you give them, and also the overall job satisfaction. So you can use a Microsoft form to do this and send it to your employees to fill it out. So, for instance, some of the questions would include the job responsibilities, the opportunities for growth, the benefits and the perks, the work-life balance and all that. Of course, depending on what data you want to capture. So once your employees fill this document or rather form, which is again web-based and can be accessed from any device out there, the HR department will be, so for instance, assuming that the HR department is the one that has sent out this employee satisfaction survey, they'll be able to get automatically get compiled and analyzed data in real time, so that they can use it to make their decisions on the next steps on how they can engage their employees better or even make life better for their employees. So it's a very cool tool. You can actually even use it to get external feedback. It doesn't necessarily have to be internal. You can use it to get external feedback. So you just need to create a form that is publicly accessible, and anybody out there who has an email address or even who can actually access the link will be able to fill out the form, and you as an organization will be able to get the data in, or rather the responses in real time. All right, so then the other app is Microsoft Stream. So by way of introduction, Microsoft Stream is a video sharing and streaming service that allows organizations to securely upload, manage, and share their videos in real time. So a video like this one, so this webinar is being recorded. So if we wanted our internal staff members to be able to go through this webinar, we would actually take this webinar recording and upload it on Microsoft Stream and give everybody access. And then everybody in the organization would just come into Microsoft Stream and be able to view that video. So it's a very useful tool in organizations right now, where you're able to record yourself or even record your screen if you wanted to. For instance, let's say you're an IT support guy, and you want to record your screen so that you can let people know the steps of troubleshooting an issue. You would actually just record your screen and upload it on Microsoft Stream, and everybody who has an email address access to your organization would just go in there and view the video. Also, another thing also to note here is we mentioned about Microsoft Teams. But one of the abilities I forgot to mention is the ability to record. So just like Zoom, Microsoft Teams gives you the ability to record a meeting. So where do these recordings get stored? They get stored on Microsoft Stream. So if you miss a meeting or you want to review a certain recording for a certain meeting, you just ideally go to Microsoft Stream, get the meeting video from there and listen to it or even watch it. Yeah. So a good example of how I've seen Microsoft Stream being used by organizations is through employee training. So an organization will come and create a series of training videos and upload them on Microsoft Stream. So the employees now come in, of course, and access the videos through their computers or even mobile devices and watch them at their own convenience. So if the HR team, and I'm using HR here because mostly the HR will enforce employee training, if they want to keep track of who has watched any video or who has not watched the videos, they will just go to Stream and use the analytics that are provided by Stream to identify who has or has not watched the videos and which are the areas of improvement. Remember, the videos also have areas that you can comment. You can post a comment about a certain video on those videos as you go along. The videos also have transcriptions for people who maybe prefer reading through the transcriptions or the subtitles as they watch the videos. So it's a very good tool that can help you improve the effectiveness of training programs, of course, to ensure that all employees have access to the same information. Then we'll now look at Microsoft To Do. So Microsoft To Do is a task management application that helps people or staff members be able to organize and manage their to-do tasks or to-do lists. So with Microsoft To-Do List, you're able to create multiple lists, organize the tasks by category or even the project. I personally use this list a lot, this to-do application rather a lot, because I find myself sometimes that I may have some tasks that I might forget to handle. So how I keep track of my tasks is every time I have a new task or a new errand that I need to run. Actually, I also use it for errands because you can use it as a personal tool or even as a productivity tool at your organization. So every time I have a task or an errand to run, I just simply write it down on Microsoft To-Do List, create a deadline for that task, and make sure that I color code that task also, so that I know the important one, maybe also the not so important task or error that I need to run. And the beauty of Microsoft To-Do List is you get reminders each and every day that you had said that you're going to do this task or finish this task by Friday. Today is Thursday. You've not finished. Today is Friday. You've not finished. So it gives you constant reminders and keeps you in check so that you can handle the key issues that you have to handle based on the deadlines that you put in. It can also help you set goals. So can be used to set and track the progress of your personal goals as well as your professional goals. For instance, if you want to learn a new language, that is a goal that you set out there. If you want to exercise regularly, if you want to complete maybe a certain certification, that is a goal. So how do you track that goal? If you don't like working with Excel like myself, I would definitely go and use the to-do list or Microsoft To Do, which will keep me on check by sending me those constant reminders. And then another thing I also like about this application is that the first thing in the morning when you wake up, you will get a reminder from To Do that these are your pending tasks. And this is what you were supposed to achieve yesterday, but you did not achieve. So please make sure you achieve it today. Very, very productive tool. And you actually don't need to have a Microsoft 365 subscription to use it. You can just go to your Play Store and download it directly from there. Yeah, so that is Microsoft To Do for you. Then we have Microsoft Planner, which integrates very, very well with the Microsoft To Do List. But Planner on its own is a project management tool designed to help your organization's teams to be able to collaborate on tasks more effectively. So you have a project. Of course, the project has tasks and it has deadlines and timelines. With Microsoft Planner, you'll be able to create all these tasks into one. You'll be able to create a project, create these tasks, and assign these tasks to various individuals that are involved in that project. Just like the Microsoft To-Do List or To-Do application, you can set timelines using Planner, and you can set also reminders using Microsoft Planner. So another thing with Planner is creating Kanban boards. So for any project management tool out there, it's always very key to be able to visualize what has been done, what has not been done, and what is pending. That is where Microsoft Planner comes in. It has very good visuals, Kanban boards that has very rich tasks and features that help you track where a project is at any given point in time, what has been completed and what has also not been completed, and helps you keep your team also in check. So like any other application out there by Microsoft, this application interacts very well with the other Microsoft applications, just to make sure that you can be able to pull data from, for instance, you can be able to pull a to-do list from your Microsoft To-Do and integrate it with Planner and vice versa. So for instance, if you assigned a task on Planner, Microsoft Planner, you can pull those tasks from Microsoft Planner and make them part of your Microsoft To-Do list so that you can be checking them off as you go. And the good thing is, the moment you mark them as done using Microsoft To Do, they also are marked as done on Microsoft Planner, which now reduces the hassle of having to go back and forth to the tool. We have Microsoft Power Apps and Power Automate. These are very new tools that are very, very key to organizations that help you solve business challenges using low-code tools and for your teams rather. So by definition, Microsoft Power Apps is a collection of tools to help you build customized web-based mobile applications to meet your business needs. So we have many organizations out there that don't have dedicated IT teams. But you would also like to build custom applications for your organization. That is where Microsoft Power Apps comes in. It's part of the Microsoft 365 tools and is available on any sort of subscription. So with Microsoft Power Apps, you don't need to be an IT professional or somebody who knows how to write code. You just need to have an idea of what you want this application to do. Okay, so Microsoft gives you the Power Apps tool that helps you design the application or rather build the application using a graphical user interface. So the way you click and drop things, click and drop, or drag and drop, that is what Microsoft Power Apps is all about. You just need to drag something, drop it somewhere, and tell it, this is what I need you to do. And it will create that application for you in the backend. Or the code, or rather the programming will be done in the backend. And it works very, very seamlessly with the Microsoft Power Automate. So the Power Automate ideally is a tool that helps organizations develop workflows or automate manual and repetitive tasks. So these two work very closely, and you cannot substitute one. I mean, you can't work with one and then, for instance, you can't work with Power Apps and not have Power Automate, but you can actually work with Power Automate without Power Apps. So for instance, assuming you're building an application on Power Apps, that application will definitely need a flow or a workflow that is going to rely on Power Automate to run. So Power Apps can use Power Apps has to always use Power Automate, but Power Automate doesn't have to use Power Apps. So just an example of what you can use Power Automate for is, let's say you as an organization have, of course, every organization, people go for holidays or go for leave. You can create a Power Automate flow that requests for approval every time a person maybe submits a request to go for leave. So how you would integrate this with Power Apps is you would create an application that people can access on their phones that helps them request for leave days or request for holidays and all that. And then you would have a Power Automate flow in the backend that sends this request for approval. And all this can be done actually without actually even having to learn how to code. This is very low code, and it's actually a very good tool, very good tools to use. And then finally, they'll also be able to give you reports by combining visuals and applications to drive your action. And speaking of reports, that brings us now to the next segment, which is Power BI. So Power BI is an analysis tool that enables organizations to analyze large amounts of data and complex data to gain business, of course, intelligence, and pull or develop reports for them using visually appealing dashboards, maps, graphs, and charts. So most of us have worked with Excel before, and we've tried to develop reports using Excel. But now Power BI helps you to develop even more interactive reports, better visually striking reports, and also helps you to streamline your analytics in real time. So Power BI ideally lets you share dashboards and reports with whoever you want, wherever you go, and also stay informed with the Power BI applications, or rather what is happening on your organization through the Power BI applications, either on your laptop or your phones. So for instance, any changes that are made to your data that change your dashboards rather, and change any sort of report here on the dashboard, you will get a notification on your phone that there's some changes in the data, and this is how they affect your reporting. So you can use this data or these reports to empower your organization, and it's actually very easy to interact with it using the simple drag and drop gestures, just like Power Apps and Power Automate. So Power BI ideally helps you to create deeper and more helpful insights to make you to help you make powerful decisions in a short period of time by giving you actual recommendations on what you need to do next to be able to take your business or your organization to the next level. Yeah, so those are the Microsoft 365 tools that we had prepared to talk to you today. But I just want to briefly go through the Microsoft security bit as well. So with all this information, all these applications that are out there that are available for you, we need to make sure that everything you access is secure, okay? So Microsoft comes in to help you enable secure access from anywhere and protect your identity. So the reason I'm talking about identity right now is because from a security point of view, identity or people and passwords are the weakest link to security. If your password is stolen today, that means the password is the weakest link. We like reusing passwords. We like using passwords for the same one password for each and every application that you use. You will get that your password for Facebook is your password for Twitter, same password for your email and all that. That makes the password and also the person the weakest link. So we need to make sure that our identities and our passwords are very protected for us to be able to make sure, of course, the entire Microsoft ecosystem is protected. So, but good thing is Microsoft gives us that ability to be able to protect our hybrid work. Now, in today's environments, we are having so many cyber threats out there. And how Microsoft looks at the security is using a layered security approach. So we have to protect 4 key components of our Microsoft 365 environment. One being the identity, another one being the device, the application security, and the document security. So we are all called to have a robust multi-layered protection across identity protection, advanced cyber threat protection, and have defenses against things like phishing and ransomware. So Microsoft 365 includes all these defenses. So as you can see on this pictorial, we have a layered approach to how we address our security, our identity security, and how we make sure that access is secure and only people authorized to access certain data and actually access the data. So Microsoft comes with advanced security technology and is used that are used by many customers, of course, for Microsoft. The technology is very powerful, but also is very simple for you as the IT admin or even the end user to deploy and manage. So enabling secure access is really just the first step towards enabling security for your remote work. So with Microsoft 365, you get advanced security configurations such as multi-factor authentication, and this is just for identity, where a person will enter their password and then they'll be requested to enter two-factor authentication for them to be actually given access or granted access to access an application. We also have the issues of self-service password reset. We might think that allowing our organizations or our staff to be able to reset their passwords is a bad thing. On the contrary, it's actually a good thing because number one, it saves you costs and also time that your IT team takes to reset their password. And also it enables your staff, for instance, if their accounts are compromised in any way, it enables them to be able to reset their passwords immediately using the self-service password resets. And then you can have things like conditional access policies where, for instance, you can say, I don't want people to be able to log in to their Microsoft environment from Russia or from Ukraine or from whichever country out there. I want them to be able only to log in from Kenya. You cannot, or from Uganda, or from Tanzania, or from whichever part of the world you are in. You can actually create conditional access policies that restrict people from logging in to Office 365 or Microsoft 365 applications based on location or based on condition. So, for instance, you can say, if I've issued, my organization gives staff members laptops or phones. I don't want any person to be able to log in from a laptop or a phone that is not issued by my organization. I only want this laptop, these people to be able to log into to Office 365 using organizational issued laptops. So there's so much that you can actually do with Microsoft 365 to ensure that you protect your identity. Okay, now let's talk about briefly about protecting against cyber threats and securing data. So sensitive data comes in many forms. It can be either personal customer information or even financial payment information. Can also be employee records, things like medical records, intellectual property, contracts, and all that. So Microsoft 365 has a layered approach on how you can protect your sensitive data. So Microsoft has capabilities such as advanced threat protection and data loss prevention policies that help you defend against cyber threats in the file or document security ecosystem. So you can, for instance, you can protect against data leaks with data loss prevention and control who has access to what data at any given point. A very good example is I think we've all seen or we've all dealt with corporate organizations that will, before they send you a document or before they send you an email, they'll actually have to classify that email as either a public or fit for consumption, for public consumption, fit for external parties and all that. that is actually Microsoft 365 data loss prevention in play. And how organizations can do that, non-profit organizations benefit from this is you can create labels for your data, for your information, and you can label this information based on the security level that you want to implement around this information. So for instance, here in TechSoup, we have the licensing guides, and we'd like maybe to share these Microsoft licensing guides with people out there. I would ideally classify that as a public document. But if I was to receive, say, an internal employee, data like payroll data or medical records, I would probably classify that as confidential. And Microsoft now will come in and process these documents, and based on the commands that you give Microsoft, these documents will have a different level of protection. So for instance, the public document, everybody will be able to share, or everybody will be able to view that public document. However, for the confidential document, if you try to actually send it through email or copy it to your external hard drive or flash disk or whichever, that document will not be copied. Okay, that document will be encrypted, and these are just some of them, some of the measures that you can put in place to protect your data. We can't really exhaust all of them today, but yeah, I know there's quite a number of scenarios that we can talk about. I know that Boniface is preparing some additional webinars, and one of them will be around security. So maybe that time we can cover how organizations can protect their data on the life cycle. Yeah. Yeah, so I think I've talked about multi-factor authentication, so I won't talk about that now. What I want us to just briefly look into is the licensing options that we have. So let me just show you the licensing options that we have. There you go. So with all this information that we have out there about Microsoft and the capabilities that Microsoft has, we have different licenses for you to be able to get, or rather, for you to be able to benefit from Microsoft 365 environment. So we have Microsoft business licenses. And just for your information, all of these are available for nonprofit, whatever I'm going to talk about today. So we have Microsoft 365 Business Basic, which offers you web-based versions of Microsoft and productivity. So what this includes is the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, email, and calendars. So you'll get whatever we just talked about here, but very key here is this is web-based. So you don't get the option to download or install these applications on your laptop. If you want to access Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and all that, you'll have to do it through the web. So that means you'll have to have internet 24/7 for you to be able to access. And the cost here is $1 per user per month. So Microsoft used to give this as a donation. That means Microsoft used to give it for free. But recently, of course, because of the economic challenges that have been out there, Microsoft has introduced a cost to this, which is $1 per user per month for the Microsoft Business Basic. And another caveat on this is that for any organization out there, you'll be able to get Business Basic for up to 300 users, and you cannot go past 300 users. This is not only for nonprofits, but also for businesses and corporate environments as well. So the maximum you can go for business licenses is 300 licenses per organization. Then we have the business, Microsoft 365 Business Standard, which has all the capabilities of Business Basic. But now with this one, you will get the downloadable version of Office. So this means you'll be able to install Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all these Office applications on your desktop. You'll have the capacity to install this on 5 different devices, whether computers, tablets, or mobile phones. You cannot install it on more than 5 devices. This goes for $3 per user per month. And again, it also has a cap of 300 users per organization. Then we move to the Business Premium, which is in the Microsoft Business Licenses ecosystem. This is the most premium license because it has advanced security features as well as what Business Standard and Business Basic cover. For this one, again, you have a cap of 300 per organization and can be installed, and you will be able to download and install the applications on at least 5, for at most 5 computers rather, tablets or devices. But for this one, the licensing is a bit different. So for the first 10 licenses that you buy or that you get as an organization, you'll pay $1 for each and every license, all right? And then after that, you have to pay $5.50 per user per month thereafter, right? So that is the difference. And mostly the difference here is around the features that you get. And finally, we have Microsoft 365 business applications. So for instance, if you're not interested in getting your email, getting your Exchange, getting your Teams, your SharePoint and your OneDrive, you can just buy the Word, the Excel, and the PowerPoints, as well as OneDrive file online storage through Microsoft Business applications. This is $3 per user per month and also has a cap of 300 users per organization. And again, you also get to install it on up to 5 computers, tablets, or mobile devices at any given point in time. Then the next SKU, or rather system we have, is the Microsoft Enterprise licenses. So these are designed for medium to large organizations, mostly again because they're enterprise and will have more capabilities. So the first one is the Office 365 E1, which goes for $2.50 per user per month. It has no it doesn't have a cap in terms of number of users. And again, the E1 is web-based, so you cannot download or install any application using the E1 license. However, the E3 and the E5, you can download and install the applications. The E3 goes for $5.75 per user per month. Also, good thing, it doesn't have unlimited users because it doesn't have limited users because it is an enterprise level license. And finally, we also have the E5, which goes for $15.20 per user per month, and comes with everything that the E1 and the E3 have to offer, and also is not limited in terms of number of users. Then finally, on the enterprise licenses, we have now the most premium in quotes licenses for Microsoft. So we have the Microsoft E3, which has full featured cloud subscription for productivity, collaboration, enhanced data security, and Windows 10 upgrades. This one goes for $9. It's unlimited, and you can also install all the all the applications on up to 5 computers, tablets, and mobile devices. So the Microsoft E3, E5, F1, and F3 are the most premium licenses from Microsoft. And actually, the E5 is the most premium license. It has very advanced threat protection features. It has premium features, has data loss prevention. The ones that we're talking about, classifying your data and ensuring that the data is encrypted at any given point in time, and you configure advanced security protection on your Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So the E5 is the most premium license, and as you can see, it goes for $22.80 per user per month. Again, it's unlimited, and you get this one. This is where you get all the Microsoft 365 ecosystem features and capabilities Microsoft has to offer. Then when you come to Microsoft 365 F1 and F3, these ones are meant for your frontline workers. So the likes of volunteers, the likes of people in the field and all that, this is where they come in. So F1 goes for $0.9 per user per month. And then F3 goes for $2 per user per month. So just a disclaimer, F1 is, Microsoft 365 F1 is due for retirement very soon. And Microsoft is upgrading everything to Microsoft 365 F3 for better protection and better features. So in the near future, you'll not be able to subscribe to Microsoft 365 F1. And then a very, very key thing to mention here is for any organization out there that takes acquires donated or granted licenses from TechSoup or from Microsoft, the organization has to make sure that it utilizes at least 85% of the assigned licenses. So assigned licenses here means licenses that have been assigned to a specific user within your organization. And active means that those individuals have used at least one of the Microsoft Cloud applications in the last 90 days. So you have to make sure that at least 85% of those assigned are actually actively using these licenses for them to be to continue for Microsoft rather to continue issuing you grants and donations on the Microsoft end. Yeah. So that is all I had prepared for you today. I hope you've found the session informative and you've learned a thing or two. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to engage more in the coming few days or in the future. And if you have any question, I'll try to, I've seen a number of questions on the chat. I'll try to answer them. And if I'm not, I'm sure my colleagues at KCDF, Boniface, Hosea, and Sarah will be able to tackle some of the questions. Yeah, so I think now we can go to the Q&A questions. So Sarah, I don't know, Sarah or Hosea, you can just take over from here and I'll be able to answer any questions.
Thank you, Alex. We have a couple of questions on the Q&A section. I don't know if you're able to access that or should go ahead and read.
Yeah, sure. I can see the Q&A question. Victoria Finn, so thank you for the session. We are thinking of using Sway as a tool to create newsletters to our community. Would you say this is the best product for Microsoft for creating and delivering? Okay, yeah. So Victoria, thank you so much for this question. Sway is part of the Microsoft 365 suite. I know we've not touched on it today, but yeah, it is part of the Microsoft 365 tool. It is a very, very good tool when it comes to creating visual striking presentations and also newsletters. At the moment, Sway, I would say, is the best tool for newsletter creation. Although Microsoft Publisher has been there for a while, but if you'd like, new ways of doing things, at least some better visuals as opposed to Publisher, Sway would be the actual way to go. So Sway doesn't necessarily also create, it does not restrict you to newsletters. You can also create presentations such as this one today. I've created it using, or rather we created it using PowerPoint, but Sway can also create presentations for you. So yeah, it's a very good tool, and I believe it's available as part of your Microsoft 365 subscription. Then I've seen there's another question here from Benta. I can't send or receive emails. It keeps on telling me that you are over your Microsoft storage limit. What does this mean? All right, so thank you, Benta. So for in Microsoft, each and every license that you have has its own limit of emails that you can send. So for instance, if you have business basic, you have business standard, you have business premium, you will have your mailbox will be 50 GB. You will have a maximum of 50 gigabytes. So if your mailbox has hit 50 GB, you'll not be able to send or receive emails. You will either have to upgrade your mailbox to a bigger size, which now means upgrading, or rather procuring an enterprise level license. Or number two, you can purchase an add-on that is called Exchange Plan 2 or Plan 1. What this gives you is more mailbox size and the ability to be able to archive your emails on the web. So what I mean by archiving is you just need to turn on your web archive or rather email archive, and any email maybe you can set rules such that any email that is maybe older than 1 year, older than 2 years, can go into that archive folder. This consequently now gives you more mailbox storage, and you'll be able to send and receive emails as you go along. Okay, so you have two options ideally: either purchase an add-on to, of course, increase the mailbox and also give you the in-place archiving, or purchase an enterprise level license that gives you at least 100 gigabytes of email. So for instance, Microsoft Office 365 E3, Microsoft E3, Microsoft 365 E3 or E5 will give you 100 gigabytes of data, plus 100 gigabytes of in-place storage or in-place archive, right? Is Microsoft Stream similar to YouTube Studio? All right, so Microsoft Stream is only open to the internal users or internal staff members. I believe YouTube Studio is publicly available. So it's similar in terms of, you're uploading content to Microsoft Stream, but when it comes to their functionality and their being open to the public, Microsoft Stream is ideally meant for your internal staff members, right? I know there are ways that you can open, you can share Stream videos, Microsoft Stream videos to the public, but it wouldn't be recommended because again, you'll probably end up filling your storage space that you have. Remember, everything also has a capacity. With Microsoft Team, you will get also X number of gigabytes that you can upload, and as your licenses grow, the capacity of your Microsoft Stream grows as well. So you could say, from looking at it from a layman's point, it's just like YouTube, but an internal staff or internal organizations YouTube, not open to the public. Then I see also another question from Benta here. Is there a possibility of losing your data, and what happens in case you do? Okay, so Microsoft guarantees you 99.99% of uptime. And this also goes to the data. It guarantees you 99.99% that you will not lose your data. Microsoft has data centers all over the world that are strategically distributed to make sure that in case one data center goes down, the other one picks up the load. So you'll always have 99.9% uptime. And also the data that you store on OneDrive is also, or rather on Microsoft 365, I believe is also load balanced, or rather there's always another copy stored somewhere, so that if, for instance, if in the event of fire or natural disaster in one of the data centers, your data is always available. And this is something that Microsoft guarantees through their terms and conditions. Another thing also is, and it's good that you brought about data getting lost. For instance, if you've saved your data on OneDrive or on SharePoint, and accidentally you go and delete a folder, or you go and delete a file, you as a user, as an end user or a staff member, can always go back to the recycle bin and restore that file. Now, let's assume that you've also deleted it from the recycle bin by mistake. Now, your IT administrator can come in and actually retrieve it from the deleted recycle bin. So we call it the secondary recycle bin. So there are sort of 4 layers before you can actually lose your data that you deleted on OneDrive or on your SharePoint. Before you can actually say, you know, I can no longer recover it. You have to go through 4 layers of deletion. And I believe by the time you're deleting from your folder, going back to delete from the recycle bin, the administrator now coming back to delete from the recycle bin, that should also now start raising issues, either security issues or compliance issues within your organization. So whether Microsoft will protect your data from loss, definitely yes. They have systems and structures to do that. And also from your organization's point of view, you'll be able to recover data in case you delete it accidentally. Then Benson is streamed like YouTube. I believe I've been able to answer that. Then Jean, what size per mailbox for email exchange? How do we migrate emails from? Right. So the size of the mailboxes. I believe I touched upon this, but I also recap. So Microsoft Business Basic, Microsoft Business Standard, Microsoft Business Premium will give you 50 gigabytes per mailbox. Office 365 E3, Office 365 E5, Microsoft 365 E3, Microsoft 365 E5 will give you 100 gigabytes of data, or rather of mailbox. Microsoft F1 will give you, I believe, 2 gigabytes. Microsoft 365 F3, believe will give you also 50 gigabytes. Yeah, so that is the mailbox sizes. However, remember you can always extend these sizes based on the license types that you have. So you can have an in-place archive in Business Premium, in Microsoft 365 E3, E5, Office 365 E3, E5, you can have an in-place archive of up to 100 gigabytes per mailbox. Then the second question is, how do we migrate emails from a different host to Microsoft 365 with Microsoft for nonprofit? So Microsoft, the email migration part is one of the services that TechSoup offers through KCDF. So my email migration is not a straightforward task that can be done by each and every organization. So we do offer these services. It is, if you have some IT knowledge or other expertise in Microsoft 365 Cloud, you can actually do the migration for yourself. But if you require TechSoup to come in through KCDF, of course, we can assist you in the email migration part. So this is a service that we offer. Of course, there is some small cost that is attributed to that, mostly, of course, because of the operations and also the operations and also the tools that have been used to do the migration. So we also to cater for that. So yes, it's actually possible, and it's something that we do. Also, just to add on that, we have organizations that are using IMAP, that are using SMTP and POP is their email host. We also have organizations that are using Google, and we'll also like to move to Microsoft or migrate to Microsoft. It's actually possible. We have quite a number of years experience in terms of doing this migration, and we can come in and assist you with this. So if you'd like, Jean and any other person who might be interested in the migrations, you can reach out to the KCDF team, or even just drop your contacts on the chat, and we'll get back to you after this session. Then how do I get Power BI? So Power BI is available in sort of two flavors. One is the Power BI free version. So the free version is usually called the desktop version, and you can download it and install it on your Windows laptop, right? That is free. And then you have the other flavor of Power BI, which is Power BI Pro. Power BI Pro is for non-profits is exclusive and is sold at I believe $3 per user per month for non-profits. How you'd like, if you'd like to get it, you could go to the TechSoup Kenya catalog website rather, and go to the catalog, the Microsoft catalog. You'll be able to see Power BI listed in there, and you can be able to purchase it directly from the website. If you're not able to access the website or you're not able to purchase, you can also get in touch with the team at KCDF or TechSoup, and they'll be able to guide you on, or rather, they'll be able to take you through the process of getting the Power BI. And this is not only Power BI, but also any other Microsoft product out there. So Benson, if you're still interested, just drop your contacts or email address on the chat, and one of our members from the KCDF team will get in touch with you. Right, then Habil, apart from the pricing of Microsoft 365, how about the cloud platform and the services? Kindly give a brief of access and pricing. So I don't know whether I'm really getting your question correctly, but you're talking about where the service sits. Are we talking about Microsoft Azure, or what exactly are you asking? If you can just clarify on the chat, and then I'll try to answer, Habil. Vincent, which plan does Power BI come in? So we have two plans I've just mentioned. We have the Power BI Pro, which comes at $3 per user per month, and then we have the Power BI free version, which is the desktop version that is free to be downloaded by anybody out there. And then Habil, again, you also have another question. What is the mode of payment? In case you are late to pay for any reason, will Microsoft pose a denial service of on your accesses? I think I will let Hosea from KCDF take that, the last question that you have, Habil. So Hosea, if you can unmute and take the last question.
Thank you, Alex, and the team for the good questions that you're answering. I want to read the question that's around the mode of payment.
Correct.
Yeah, for mode of payment, this will vary depending on the product that you're interested in. And that's why I think the best approach is usually to contact us, because I understand the organization that will like quotation in terms of following the procurement processes. And then depending on the product, We have various mode of payment, some through what we call even M-Pesa services for Kenyan organization. You also have bank transfers, but again, the most convenient way, usually contacting us, then we can share in case of any challenges with a certain payment mode, we can share a different way of doing that. Abel, I hope I've answered you. Okay, maybe to end on that, on Microsoft, when you say Microsoft, I want to believe you are talking about the crown subscription. What happens as TechSoup, because we are a Microsoft authorized partner? What happens with our client? We handle the payment on behalf of the client, meaning you communicate with us because we have a relationship with you in terms of the payment, and then with that we can see how we can we can plan on plan on ensuring that your services or your subscription is not suspended by Microsoft in the case where you are late for the payment or for the renewal. But it's always good to communicate with us early enough, and then we can see how to work around. That's why as TechSoup now we become your partner to handle such occasions, because sometimes we can have a situation that you are late in payment and you don't want all your emails or all your platform to be down. Thank you for that, Abel.
All right, thanks, Jose. So I've just seen Habil's, not Habil's, yeah, Habil's clarification on the question he had, and he's saying it's Microsoft Azure. So Microsoft also has a non-profit offering for Microsoft Azure, where you register your subscription and you get $3,500 worth of credits as a nonprofit. So as you may know, Microsoft Azure is all about spinning up virtual machines or having application services running there. And that's ideally just like infrastructure, the infrastructure you would have on your premises. So for the if you compare commercial the commercial side of things, you don't get any sort of credits. I think you only get $200 worth of credit for the trial version when you register a commercial instance. However, with Azure for nonprofits, you get $3,005 annual credits that you can use to pay for your services. So if you're on a pay-as-you-go model, where you spin up a virtual machine or you spin up any sort of server that you spin up there, this $3,500 will be used to pay for this service that you're running on Microsoft Azure, and this is an annual cost. So remember, it's also pay as you go. So if you look at it, it's actually a very good deal, because for instance, if your costs for running those virtual machines are $7,000 per year, that means you're cutting your costs by half, all thanks to Microsoft Azure. So yeah, it's actually possible. Azure is accessible as a nonprofit offering as well. And Habil, if you wish, we'll also contact you maybe after, so that we can discuss maybe how TechSoup and also KCDF can assist you in implementing the Azure subscription, or rather moving your Azure subscription to a nonprofit based model. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Habil. Okay, I think I don't see any additional questions. on chat. Just to clarify, there's somebody who I think it's Ben Osire, sorry, Hezron. Hezron Kiptalam had asked about the 1 terabyte storage, whether it's accessible or provided in all packages. So the answer is yes. All the packages, whether Business Basic to Microsoft Business E3 or E5, have 1 terabyte of storage on OneDrive. So yeah, that is standard across each and every offering. Right. Yeah, so thank you. I'd like to stop there. I think we are we're out in 37 minutes. We've exceeded by 37 minutes, so I'm really sorry to have taken up your time, but yeah, I hope we've learned something new, and I hope I've been able to answer at least, if not all, at least most of the questions. But again, we are always here to assist. If you require us to come in and help you also in implementing these technology solutions, we have a very good team that is in place that can actually assist you on that as well. So we do consulting, we do implementations, and we also do support for nonprofit organizations. So thank you all. I'd like to give it back to Boniface so that he can close for us. Yeah, thank you guys. See you in the next session.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex. That was amazing. That was excellent. What a training we've had. I didn't know that actually we have Microsoft Stream and many others, of course. And we've learned a lot. And thank you also to our participants for the engaging questions and sharing your insights. And just before we bring this to a close, we just want to get your feedback briefly. So please go to Menti, go to www.menti.com. Just give us your feedback. Go to www.menti.com. It's on the chat, and you'll be able to just access a way in which you can be able to give us feedback. Go to www.menti.com and then use the code on the chat. That is 63788746. 63788746. And then the first question, in one word, how would you describe today's training session? Okay, so please just go to menti.com, www.menti.com, and use the code 63788746. It's on the chat, and then you'll be able to see. Let me just see whether I can share my screen, and then please give us your feedback on that. Yeah, it's on the screen. You can see it. Go to www.menti.com and use the code 63788746. I can see some guys have already shared their feedback. It was informative. Thank you. It was educative. Thank you very much. It was revealing. Thank you. Please share, just give us your feedback. Give us your feedback on menti.com. I can see 5 guys have already logged in. Just type one word, your feedback on today's session, and we'll be more than glad to receive that. Yeah, in one word, how would you describe today's session? Give us that feedback, and then I'm waiting for at least some 5 more others. I can see 6 guys have given us their feedback. Let's get it to 10. Go to menti.com, use the code on your screen, 63788746, and give us your feedback. How was today's session in one word? Okay, let me go to the next slide. Just trying to get to the next slide. Okay. Let me just, there you go. What topics would you recommend to us for your future training sessions? What topics would you recommend to us for your future training sessions? Anything that you feel we need to tackle in our next sessions, please feel free to put it, just submit it to us on that slide. Just type in a sentence, just one of the topics you feel we need to take through. We need to take you through in our next and future sessions. Please again go to menti.com and submit any topics that you would recommend. Thank you. Somebody just said we can touch on Microsoft Azure. That's okay. Security, that would be great. Just give us any topics that you want us to touch on in our future training sessions. We'll be more than glad to get your feedback at the same time. Okay. Thank you. I think this is key. This is of interest to me. Thank you very much. Storage that deals. I think that's the sentence. It's continuing on the other end. Yeah, please give us your feedback. What topics would you recommend to us for your future training sessions? We'll be more than glad to hear that from you. And of course, we'll factor in your feedback and your input. So, all right. Thank you so much for your feedback. We really appreciate so much for the time. Again, thank you so much for creating the time just to join us. Before we close, I'll just ask Sarah to come in and just give us her final remarks and maybe an update on the next training session. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for your feedback. Keep it coming on the next topics that you want us just to, touch on in our future training sessions. Mine is to say thank you so much for creating the time and to wish you a very lovely long weekend ahead. Let me hand over this back to Sarah for the closing remarks. Thank you and bye.
Thank you everyone for joining today's session. We are so grateful to all of you, especially the ones who are joining us from Kenya. Given that it's a holiday, you sacrificed your time to be with us and to join us on this session. I want to thank in a special way Alex. Alex, thank you so much for leading us through the session. Thank you for breaking the content down till we could understand it. Thank you for answering our questions. We are so grateful. And just a couple of remarks. I have shared some of our social platforms that you can reach us on. I have shared our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn profile pages. You just click them and you can follow and get to know when we'll have another webinar so that you can also join. I've also gone ahead to share KCDF's social media pages as well so that you can just look through them. And my colleague Hosea previously had shared just contacts in case you want to follow up. So for any inquiries, for any follow-up questions, kindly reach us at support@techsoupkenya.or.ke or get us on techsoupsupport@kcdf.or.ke. I've also managed to share our contacts, which is +2547 90 476 499. Feel free to reach to us if you have any questions. If you'd like us to understand the solution that your nonprofit or your organization would need, feel free to reach us and we'll be sure to have a sit down and to help you find that solution. From our end, we just want to say thank you and to wish you a lovely Friday. It's heading to afternoon, so enjoy the rest of your day and until we meet again next time. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are glad that you could learn more about everything that you needed to know about Microsoft 365. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.